Radio, presented by American Express. Dave, we're on Armstrong, which I guess technically is an outer court. It's not ash, but certainly still a stadium. But you went to the outer courts today. You saw some pretty good tennis.
I did, Brian. It's a fascinating atmosphere today. Very hot day, very packed day. And as you know, it's a hot ticket right now because a lot of fans go to the outer courts. You see a lot of top players out there, so it was a wonderful atmosphere.
Top players and also a lot of high-quality matches, even if you maybe haven't heard of these guys. As Murray's serving now from the far baseline, he comes in behind it and pushes a backhand up the open left line. He's serving to extend this third set at 2-5. He had a couple of break chances on Meyer in Meyer's last service game, but couldn't take advantage. So when you say outer court, some people don't go any further than Armstrong if looking for an outer court. But when you look at the stuff on court 6, court 11, an ace for Murray at 112. 30 love for the Scot. What did you see?
Well, for one thing that people got to realize with those outer courts is that you can walk right up and you can see the action pretty close.
Another ace from Murray. He went dive bombing over the net with that tight angle serve at 94. And it's 40 love, a chance to hold it love for 3-5. Ace again. That one right down the tee. What an impressive service game from the defending champion. But now Leonardo Meyer can serve for this third set. That is the coolest part. You get to walk right up, and that's when you see how good these people really are.
Yeah, and I was spending time on court 7 for a couple of minutes watching Donskoy against Gojic, and Gojic was down 2 sets, but I mean, I love the fight that some of these guys have to just stay in it. This is a Grand Slam, so obviously, players are going to really be into it, but some guys, just retire, and some, you really got to credit sticking out there.
Meyer opens with an ace right down the tee that Murray thought might have been a little wide, so he put the racket up to challenge. Murray now with 4 aces, all coming in that last service game, or for the most part. Just caught the outside of the center service line. And Meyer 3 points from this third set.
Has no challenges remaining.
Meyer, we said before, is now changing to the fluorescent green shirt with blue trim on the sleeves. And misses wide at 15 love. Tried to come down the tee, and he's going to challenge.
Right to the service line. The ball's called out.
It was in. Good challenge from the Argentinian.
Here's a guy right here, Brian, who's playing for a lot of rankings points, a match that he knows, it's probably not going to go his way, and a guy that, he's already down 2 sets. Perfect example, just like I mentioned a few moments ago. He's here to play, and he's going to give it his all in the latter stages of this third set.
We were saying earlier, as he gets the ace now at 30 love, right into the Murray backhand, but a little long. The way he fought in the first set, lost at 7-5, and then gets run over sort of in the second set. Murray took it 6-1, but then he came out firing in the third set, so that's something you tip your cap to. Second serve, Murray defensively blocks back. Volley at net with the backhand from Meyer. Murray up the right side, left it wide. Triple set point.
And for fans that have been on Armstrong today, they've seen a couple good matches. I was hanging out at the Kudla-Berdych match just before this, and Kudla, guy, up-and-coming American, he took Berdych to 2 tie breaks to begin that match, so credit his effort, and fans are seeing a nice one here in the third set as well.
We haven't seen any of really the biggest contenders pushed to 4 sets yet. We saw Novak Djokovic take it to a tiebreaker with Benjamin Becker today, but Leonardo Meyer a couple of points from doing just that to Andy Murray. Second serve at 40 love. Soft Murray up the left side with a backhand, left it long. Third set to Leonardo Meyer. We'll play 4 on Armstrong. It's Murray up 2-1 though. Here on USOpen.org radio, presented by American Express. But Dave, we were talking about what we saw in those outer courts. Of course, the biggest story, who wins, who loses, because for so many of these guys, the financial implications of these matches mean, okay, now I can go play this tournament. I can stay in this hotel. Not the biggest name guys, but people who need to win just to keep on playing. So tell us, who did you see take care of business?
Okay, let's first start on the show court right here, Arthur Ashe Stadium, and Leno cruised over Laura Robson 6-2, 7-5 in just an hour and 21 minutes. She's been successful all tournament long. And you talked about Novak Djokovic, and he cruised in 3 sets, 7-6, 6-2, 6-2. He'll play Sosa in the third round of the men's draw. And, of course, the up-and-coming American, she's already making a name for herself, Sloane Stephens, 6-1, 6-3, a routing over fellow American Jamie Hampton. Quite a showing by Sloane, and it could be a replay, Brian, of the Australian Open where she might face Serena, and you talk about that one. That's a highly anticipated matchup if she wins tonight.
That would be a huge match. Of course, Serena playing Yaroslava Shvedova. You would believe that would take place probably on Monday. That'd be a good Labor Day match. No, actually Sunday, you would think. That would be a very good one because, of course, some comments from Sloane about Serena, so maybe the relationship between the two has been under some scrutiny for a little while, so I think a lot of people really want to see that.
And a surprising matchup today. I was also hanging out at Grandstand, and the second matchup there, Makarova is playing some wonderful tennis, and the Wimbledon finalist, Sabine Lisicki, had some trouble today. I thought she was going to come back in that second set. Unfortunately for her, Makarova won at 7-5. Disappointing for Lisicki's camp.
Disappointing for Lisicki, but really not a great summer on the hard courts. Once she got off the grass where she made it to the Wimbledon final, had a really tough day in that final against Marion Bartoli. So not a great summer, so I don't think it comes as a huge shock, that loss to, as you said, a Katerina Makarova, who played very well.
Tommy Haas is a guy who played a lot of doubles with Roger Federer in Germany on the grass surface. Today got past Young-Soo Liu, 6-3, 6-4, and 7-6. Haas, the number 12 seed, a guy who's almost an elder statesman right now on the tour, but he's getting it done in all facets.
He's getting it done. This is a guy who has almost completely dropped off the tour on 2 different occasions with injuries, back once about 10 years ago and then recently 2 or 3 years ago. But now he's 35. He's the oldest player in the draw. He's a father now, so a lot of times that gives you a second win. You can kind of be revitalized, and that seems to be the case with Tommy Haas, who has long been a fan favorite. He'll play the winner, well, if he can take care of business in his next round match, he'll play the winner of Leighton Hewitt and Juan Martín del Potro. Of course, Haas in the next round, the 12th seed, will now play Mikhail Yuzhny, a former semifinalist here. That's a third-round encounter. But back here on Armstrong, it's Andy Murray taking 4 sets by Leonardo Meyer. The defending champion won the first set 7-5, the second 6-1. But Meyer came out firing in the third, won at 6-3. Going to see some doubles action next. Speaking of doubles, Bob and Mike Bryant will play the final match of the day on Louis Armstrong when they take on Frederick Nielsen and Eric Budarak. Brian's going, of course, for that Grand Slam.
What's also nice, too, for fans, if you can't get up close and personal, let's say with a Sarah Irani or a player of that nature, Roberta Vinci, you can watch them play doubles together. You can watch some of these other big-name players. Obviously, the Bryan brothers are one of them. But some of these women and men that play singles, you can see them up close in doubles on these side courts. We can get a seat on the bleachers, and as if you're 3 people, next to them. It's just fascinating to see a player up close and to realize how hard these men and women play and hit. It's pretty spectacular.
Well, that was something a lot of people wanted to see. They staked out court 17 to watch Martina Hingis. She's here playing doubles with Daniela Hontakova. They lost today to that top-seeded pairing of Irani and Vinci, the defending champions. So now Murray to serve to open this 4th set. He works from the far baseline after a shirt change of his own. He's now in white. And plays a couple of half volleys off the back fence while waiting for everybody to get settled. Meyer actually left the court after that set. And Murray was ready to go, but still a brief disturbance. He doesn't look too happy about it. Says, "Are you ready?" to Carlos Ramos. And now we are. 4th set underway. And a good first serve from Murray. And I think something distracted Meyer off to the right. He signaling in that direction as he never just made clean contact with the ball.
Could this be this type of match where we saw last night with Gael Monfils and John Isner, where you saw fans really cheering for Monfils? they just want more tennis, and maybe that might affect Murray going forward here. Obviously, most people are going to root for him.
That's a good point. As Meyer up the right sideline, Murray pops a backhand lob back long. And it's 15 all.
We were talking with a lot of fans in the Amex booth where we do a 4 o'clock show with Matt Crone and Steve Flink. You provide updates, of course, and a lot of fans were really perplexed at that. Why weren't, the faithful rooting for the hometown guy, John Isner, the American?
We were talking about that last night as we were calling the match, as Murray serves at 15 all, goes out wide. Meyer flies one back long with his forehand, try to go into the center of the court. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a very international crowd here, so you assume, of course, there's primarily Americans, but a lot of foreigners. But if you were to just stumble on Gael Monfils playing tennis, you're naturally drawn to rooting for that guy. He plays so exciting, so much flair, and that's a big part of it.
He was sensational at the French Open, just watching him play, and obviously playing for his home country. Everybody was hoping that he would go further and further on. The guy is just, his momentum is so contagious out there. It feels like you want to go in his shoes and play.
Backhand cross court from there. He floats it wide. Murray 40-15 to open this fourth set. 7 o'clock on the dot in New York City. Brian Clark and Dave Leno here with you on USOpen.org radio, presented by American Express. Matt Cronin will join us later, as will Doug Adler. Ace from Murray out wide. Beautifully placed at just 97. Not a lot of gas, but it's ace number 5 for the defending champion. And he holds to open this fourth set. An improvement from his first service game in the third set.
You were talking about how there aren't many of the top seeds going to 4 sets. Brian, in your opinion, you've been doing this a long time. Does this affect a guy like Murray, one of the top players, and on his first serve percentage right now at 85%, just sensational out there? Or do you think a 4th set will actually help him work on his mental game for the latter stages of this tournament?
I think it does help. I think he'd rather go to a 4th set today than back on Wednesday night, where, first of all, it's a first-round match, but taking the court at 10 o'clock, you want to get off the court as quickly as possible, knowing you've got some tough matches ahead of you. So right now they've only been on court for 2 hours, 16 minutes. I don't think a 4th set is the worst thing in the world, because it's not like Murray's playing badly. Meyer's playing very well. These two born on the same day, as we mentioned earlier, May 15th, 1987, as Meyer's first serve finds the net. And a second serve right to the Murray backhand, and he goes short middle, backhand middle for Meyer, a backhand middle Murray, forehand inside out Meyer, Murray drifts left, guides a backhand just long. Murray yelling at Carlos Ramos.
Like this.
I don't know if he was upset with the crowd or if he thought the ball was in.
I'm looking at you to know whether you want to challenge it. There hasn't been a situation, Andy.
Murray thought the ball